Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. Let's go back into this.
He didn't know what else to say, so he followed Hope into the hall like a silent shadow. He thought the right words would come to him, but the entrance door closed and he remained silent. Ethan sighed. He regretted his decision to talk about the night episode. He regretted how the talk turned out. He felt sorry for himself, and for Hope. After all, Ethan was well aware of that. He didn't spend enough time with her. At first because of the agency project, now because of the question to which he could not find an answer. It was time to end this. He's going to make some coffee, then he'll open the laptop and write up some answer. It won't be an accurate one, but it's really time to finish that work marathon. After all, he doesn't even get paid for his time. Ethan nodded to the closed door and turned around, ready to execute the plan. Oh, goddamn. And of course, naked cat girls. That's when he saw her. Just for a split second, but damn it, he saw her. A black-haired girl flashed in the doorway of one of the rooms. Not even flashed, but drifted. Like a Ethan's mouth went dry. Shadow. Damn, I was hoping I was going to say ghost.
Oh, I thought I was going to say ghost too.
Of course, there was no one in the room. This had gone too far. Ethan had gone too far, but he couldn't turn back, even though he was going to. He didn't even make any coffee. You had to get rid of that question. Good night's sleep, and forget about the whole thing. Forget about the shadow that danced in his kitchen. Forget about the pale silhouette that wandered through his apartment. Forget that at this very moment someone is looking at the back of his head, and that look makes his skin feel as cold as the kitchen floor last night, and the hairs, one by one, stand on end. Are you in a dark room by chance?
It's Dave. Sorry, I was on beat because the ambulance passed by. I'm not in a dark room.
Oh, I can't be, because I got the stupid camera, you know? I'm like in a surgically bright room. Ethan clenched his teeth, not with anger, but with some new emotion he couldn't name. The blood hummed in his ears, louder and louder. It'll all be over after he writes the letter. It will be over. He opened his laptop. His hands were shaking a little, and was putting his fingers over the keyboard when his cell phone rang. Ethan flinched. He stared blankly for a few seconds at the vibrating rectangle of glass and plastic crawled across the table. Don't. Do not answer. Don't do it. Suddenly he grabbed the phone and pushed the accept button. Good job, Ethan. Ethan himself didn't know how that had happened. He just did it. That's all. The phone pressed tight against his ear. He waited for a hoarse, gurgling voice to call his name and tell him to look behind. Or what is supposed to happen in cases like this? 7 days.
Ethan.
Hope?
We're expecting someone else, dolt. Okay, sorry, I'm super uneasy and so I'm talking nonsense.
Yeah, I'm uneasy too. Well, that was completely true.
Look, I'm distracted right now.
You are, and I'm very happy about that. Go on, please.
That's great. Look, it didn't come off well at breakfast, right?
Yes. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm being awful.
No, I'm sorry.
The Canadian?
They are Canadian. Both of us have it hard now, so let's try not to fight, okay?
Great idea.
Why don't we go out tonight? Say, for groceries. Maybe I'll touch your butt. Kind of going out, if you ask me. I'll go crazy being cooped up like that.
Oh, so that's what's driving me nuts. Should go out for zucchini more often.
So what do you say?
Okay. We're going to buy all the zucchini tonight. Hope laughed. Ethan suddenly realized that the blood wasn't buzzing in his ears. No one was looking at the back of his head, and if he turned around, he would only see Hope's socks that she had left on the chair again.
God damn it, Hope!
Clean up your socks! I love you.
I love you too, very much.
じゃあ夜にね。
See you tonight.
After finishing the call, he turned around.
What's your drink tonight?
The socks were resting peacefully on the chair, which meant everything was okay. Oh, it's just water. Actually, we'll splash a root beer in there. Like, tiny.
Okay.
Yeah, my water container wasn't all the way filled up, so I'm like, I gotta substitute something. He went back to the mail, and only then noticed several new letters. 2 of them were from his counterpart. Ethan hesitated. Well, me too, Tangled. Me too, buddy. He had already decided his course of action concerning the question, so there was no harm in taking a look. He wouldn't feel any guilt. After all, he had already done far more than he should have. Of course, he is a lifesaver for those wanting to sell books mentioning historical accuracy, but having no intention to pay for it properly. And so what? He doesn't have to do a perfect job for free. Hell, he doesn't even have to work for free. That's what Ethan thought. Then he opened the 2 letters he got and changed his highly reasonable decision. His counterpart was asking how soon he would get an answer, so this happened, after all. The tone was very plain and apologetic. He wasn't expecting anything, but he really, really needed the help of someone competent. According to the emails, he wasn't doing very well. The poor man had been suffering from insomnia for an insane amount of time, and it seems that he, too, began imagining things. It was as if Ethan saw himself from the outside. He suddenly felt very sorry for his acquaintance. Okay, so he's not the other dude? Of course, he had begun to feel sorry for him earlier, but now Ethan felt a sharp, bitter pity. He realized that if he helps his acquaintance, he'll help himself. But if he steps back now, what is the value of a specialist who is afraid of a little challenge? As Hope once said, the career ladder is made of thorns. Of course, he no longer worked in an office, but his professional growth requires twice as much effort if you're self-employed. And besides, Ethan had Hope. Hope, who never gives in so easily and forgets her socks on the chair. Hope, who loves him very much. Hope, who will go to the store with him tonight because being cooped up like that can drive one crazy. This must be what is happening to his acquaintance right now. Ethan had to help him. Not because of money, but because he could, and because it was the right thing to do. They'll both finish their projects, and then they'll have a good rest. They might even go out for a glass of beer together. So, Ethan thought, and got back to the question of newfound strength. The pages of the books did not rustle in the far corner of the room. The shadows weren't wandering in the corridor, and certainly no one looked at the back of his head until the evening. And in the evening, Hope came back.
Hope did steal his cupcake. It wouldn't surprise me if stole his ice cream.
Aww. Hope looked up from her magazine and leaned over the armrest.
代理店から電話があった。
You had a call from the agency?
Ethan just got back from the shower. He froze in place, clutching the towel at his waist. Something cold stirred uncomfortably in his stomach. The project. He had completely forgotten about the agency project. It had been more than 2 weeks. The deadline was very close. He started for the phone, but Hope just waved her hand
大丈
lazily.
夫、私が取るよ。
Don't worry, I picked it up.
What did you tell him?
主人は食べ
I
ます
told
し
him stop
眠
eating
りもし
and
ない
loving
で
anything other than
頑
work.
張ってるの
So
で
don't get the files all nice and
仕事し
shiny.
ますってそうでしょ
Pretty accurate, huh?
Yeah. Just don't pick up my phone again, okay?
Oh,
Hope shrugged.
分かったわ
sure.
Look, if she wants to ruin her day, go ahead, go through the phone.
そもそも電話に出るように頼んだのはあな
It's
た
that
で
cat horror again. I knew it. You told me you were seeing her again.
4,500 cat hole, beehole pictures.
I mean, it was you who asked me to answer the call in the first place. So many pictures of those little paws and a blep or two.
Yes, I know. Oh god, you haven't been going to your Beans Anonymous meeting? When I just started working for them, it was important to let them see I wasn't always in touch. Now that I've passed the probation period, there's no point in piling this on you any longer. Thank you for covering for
大
me.
丈夫よ
No problem.
また電話取るわ
If you're getting a call and I'm not too lazy to go pick it, I can keep watching your back.
No, you really shouldn't. This project is complicated. I'd rather deal with it myself. Ethan sat rigid. He never considered himself a good liar, but Hope didn't seem to notice anything. She sighed, pretended to be upset, and rolled her
つま
eyes.
り
Well, now, guess I'm being fired from an unpaid secretary position without any honors or compensation. Capitalism sucks.
Ethan leaned over, tucked a strand of blonde hair behind her ear, and looked into her eyes. His hand remained on Hope's cheek. Your help is very important to me. Hope's hand went over his. She closed her eyes.
I know.
You got a pumpkin boo, too. I couldn't have done it without you.
What else is new?
They kissed.
Aw, smooch.
When Hope pulled away, she looked pleased, a sly smile on her lips. Are we going to the store?
Not anymore. I'm not sure.
They reached for each other again, but the phone gave a shrill ring. After the phone call this morning, Ethan turned the silent mode off. Oh well. My city needs me. Ethan briefly pressed his lips to her forehead. Hope sighed and slapped his ass.
Yes! If God exists, he really wants us to buy some tea. I'll go and get dressed.
The call was from the agency. They needed more details and dates. Ethan went out into the hallway and tried to make it sound as plausible as he could. Yes, he understands that the deadline's very close. No, there were no serious hitches in the work. Yes, he will send everything on time. When the call finally ended, Ethan's neck and face were flushed. By this time, he was a lousy liar after all. Ethan had to catch his breath. When he returned to the room, Hope was reaching for his laptop. What are you doing? Hope glanced at him over the shoulder. This time, she looked surprised.
Nothing special, really. Just wanted to print out some discount. What about it?
Oh, what about it? She's gonna throw hands. Ethan left a bunch of files and tabs open. They had nothing to do with the agency project, and he didn't want Hope to see them. After all, she did not know enough about his projects to serve as a sort of secretary. Oh, she did know, excuse me, about all the projects except the one that Ethan shouldn't have taken because it wasn't paid for. Maybe his fears were irrational. Maybe Hope wouldn't blame him. But Ethan felt ashamed. He didn't want to take any chances after what had happened this morning. I have lots of unsafe files in there. Some important information might get lost.
Ethan, why is there 1 terabyte folder full of caffeine? We talked about this.
I swear it's all homework. Can I print those coupons myself? Ethan felt the heat rise again in his neck and cheeks. Hope stared at him for a few seconds. Ethan couldn't read the expression on her face, and that creeped him out. He was ready to hear the reproaches. He even agreed with them in his mind, but Hope simply walked away.
Sure. I'll send them to your mail.
They spent most of the way to the store in tense silence. A few times Ethan asked something, just to make sure Hope was still talking to him. Hope was, though the answers were dry and she never even attempted to make a joke. It's not that bad, Ethan told himself. It's not that bad at all. If you repeat it again and again, you can buy a little time, but in the end, anxiety will prevail. It always does. Ethan's mind quickly figured out the owner was trying to trick it and spat out the chewing gum. At that moment, Ethan got caught in an avalanche of thoughts he didn't want to deal with and couldn't in his current state. Something had to be done, to be said. But what? Maybe he should actually do something after all. Ethan imagined touching Hope's fingers, and he immediately saw her pulling the hand back, her eyes glistening. How she opens her mouth to ask a question Ethan had no answer to. They'd have to talk, one way or another. Ethan didn't know where to start without burying himself even deeper. He had been thinking about it the whole way, but he never came up with anything. What was the romance game we played that never had an ending?
Romance game that didn't have an ending.
Remember they were like in the video arcade?
Oh yeah,
And like nothing happened?
Oh yeah, it was the... Oh god, what was it called?
I don't
We played
remember.
on a stream.
Oh. The huge
I think
super...
it was a, I think it was one of a Christmas game, if I recall.
maybe. The huge supermarket on the next block, a place they had long dubbed the store, was bustling with life despite the rather late hour. As soon as they entered the large glass doors, the tension began to come off on its own.
Go shopping for zucchinis.
The carts were scarce, but Ethan got them one in exchange for a coupon. He gave them a thumbs up with not bad at all expression on her face. Hope enthusiastically presented a huge, colorful, utterly ludicrous mug, and Ethan immediately agreed that they had to buy it. They tried to find a pair for the mug, but a brooding supermarket employee said it was the last one. They were a little disappointed, but, well, at least that was something. The relationship was saved by a mug.
Yes.
Oh yeah, looking for the mug was the thing that finally did the trick. Now they were huddled together, looking for their favorite treats and arguing about which breakfast cereals are the best. That's how it was until they reached the meat department. I'll go pick something out before it's all cleared. Hope nodded absently. She was stuck at one of the big fridges in the middle of the hall.
Okay, I'll be waiting here for you.
The meat shelves were half empty, as usual at this hour. Ethan was hoping to find a steak or some minced meat. However, he soon forgot about both.
Oh.
We're going for the best kind of meat.
Yes.
There was a girl standing by one of the shelves. Ethan couldn't see her face, only her pale back under a white dress with thin straps, and also her disheveled dark hair. Ethan's cheeks were stung with cold, as if his face was lying on the shelf in one of those refrigerated display cases. Just between the pork ribs and a lone ribeye in a black polyester foam tray. Is that her? Ethan took a few uncertain steps forward. Then he backed away, almost knocking over a nice old lady. He couldn't even muster an apology. Grabbed the first thing that came to hand and turned around the nearest row of shelves. He tried not to run, because it would have looked too stupid. Ethan explained to himself as he reached the end of the row and peered around the corner. The girl was still picking out meat. Isn't that what you're doing now, stupid? For sure it is, Ethan agreed with himself. The cold no longer burned his cheek, and the girl seemed quite ordinary, as if she was dressed too lightly for the current weather. But that was still not considered a crime in any of the states. Ethan smiled pocket catnip. Ethan smiled at his own thoughts. Generally speaking, the girl was rather attractive, and her light clothing allowed one to fully appreciate it. Her thin waist passing to a seductive curve of her hips, and beneath the folds of the white fabric one could make out her rounded buttocks.
Yes. Dad?
What?
I was asking, broccoli or Brussels sprouts?
I want Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, Brussels sprouts. Next question.
Hope stood still with two colorful plastic bags in her hands, looking at Ethan questioningly. He blinked several times, squinting as if he had just stepped out into the bright light for a darkened room. When did he get back to Hope? Why was he holding a bottle of Thousand Island dressing? This is going to get weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was a little dizzy.
Are you alright?
Yeah, never mind. I'm sorry, I was just lost in thought. Hope tried not to look in the direction Ethan had been focused on for so long. She really tried, but sometimes trying isn't enough no matter how much effort you put into it. At that very moment, the dark-haired girl's light white dress was floating away from the meat shelves. She must have finally made her choice.
See.
Oh no. For a moment, Ethan thought both colorful plastic bags were about to slap him in the face. But Hope just smiled and tossed the bags into the cart. Ethan heard them crunch loudly as they hit the bottom.
Well, let's take both.
Is he talking about the girl?
Variety is the spice of life.
They haven't bought any zucchini. Instead, they were interested in cake.
So.
I believe that is what you kids reference as butt. Correct him?
Yeah.
That night he had another dream about the white room. The walls were still trembling softly in the cold light. Everything in the room, including the air, was oozing tension, anguishing anticipation of what was about to happen. And something was really about to happen, no doubt about it. Ethan suddenly realized he was looking at the room from an odd angle. He seemed to be standing on something, but he couldn't feel anything under his feet. No support. He tried to look down, but only saw the shimmering air. He had no legs, and nothing above the missing legs. As if he was not there, or rather, he was. The shimmering air, the chipped ceiling, and the walls that were still trembling.
Oh, Ken, I found our game. It was called The Wolf Between Us.
The what between us?
The Wolf Between Us. That
Oh.
was a game that, didn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
It was pretty, but yeah.
Yeah, nothing happened. We just said a bunch of
Yeah.
words for a couple hours.
Mhm.
We're having
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was reading Diabetes' cake thing too. He was the red sofa standing a little away from the center, and a couple of unremarkable white doors on opposite walls of the room that were not there the last time. And that should not have been there. Nothing can be done about it now. The doors have appeared, and there's nothing that can be done about it now. The light grew dim, now pulsating noticeably. It was still emanating from the room in its entirety, reflecting from the white walls, but most of all, from the twin bra on the wall between two doors that was not supposed to be there. For some
What?
reason, Ethan tried to catch the rhythm of the light with his breath, yet he couldn't.
I'm so glad our casting couch buddy is back.
There were two figures sitting on the sofa, one fair and the other dark. The dark one came into the room through one of the doors, but Ethan couldn't guess which one. The fair one was Hope. Hope,
This game is so pretty.
what are you doing here? You can't be here. You have to leave right now or something will happen. The pulse light became faster. I do like it. Oh, I like it even more now, Em.
Yes.
The dark one moved towards Hope and tucked a blonde strand behind her ear. Yeah, smell her hair. Everything was happening very slowly, as if underwater. There was something odd about the dark one. Something about her was wrong, but Ethan couldn't guess what. She leaned towards Hope's ear and covered her mouth with her hand, and Hope leaned towards her and listened very carefully, as if they had a mutual secret amongst themselves. Something was about to happen. Not in this version.
Yeah.
They both looked at Ethan, even though Ethan wasn't here, or rather, he was nowhere, because no white room ever existed. Then one of them smiled. The dark one's fingers slid down Hope's chin. A soft, rounded line. They were no longer looking at Ethan. Only at each other very closely, and they were slowly inhaling the light.
Oh.
This is my favorite game ever. The dark one struck Hope's cheek, and there was no light left between their ajar lips as they collided. Ethan saw drops of saliva glistening on their lips. The dark one licked her lips and raised her tongue to make space for a long black snake as it got out of her mouth.
What?
The snake swayed, tasted the air and with its own tongue, and reached out to Hope. Hope closed her eyes. I'm not into this anymore. Now the snake was stroking her cheek, long and black, over and over again in a spiral, always in a spiral. Hope reached for the band that covered her eyes, and the dark girl reached for her hand, and their fingers intertwined, and the light between their lips melted, as it always happens at sunset. Yet there was no snake. It was just a black ribbon, a poisonous ribbon, covered in scales.
So a snake.
Yeah, I mean, that's just as bad, I think. The pulse of the room became faster. One of the lamps came into an eclipse. She has a number of faces. That's a clue. The bodies of two girls merged on the red sofa. His own flesh was shaking and shrinking. Ligaments, valves, bones, vessels in places where they came very close to the shabby red upholstery. His heart rate became faster. Faster. This is like seriously the couch horror game. And then something happened. Ethan woke up. Enjoying its sofa. Oh, that's cute. That's a cute achievement. Are you enjoying this so far? I like it. His breath was bubbling in his throat. The ceiling above him was flaring with immeasurable darkness, and down below his stomach he felt a searing heat. The heat was so intense Ethan had to sneak into the bathroom. As his old man used to say, he had to squeeze it off. Okay.
What?
I don't know.
I don't like that one.
And not just once, but whopping 2. After that, Ethan loomed over the sink and was looking at himself in a small rectangular mirror for quite a while. At some point, his lips started trembling. He did not wait to see where this was going. He spat into the sink, left the water run for a moment, then he turned the lights off. So this went from cool kissing on the couch to rubbing him out in the bathroom. Ethan didn't want morning to come. Alright, you want to see what changed?
Wait, did he rub it out in the bathroom?
I don't know. I read that as he rubbed 2 out. How to make tomato soup.
Huh? At some point they have to remove her fingernails and exit out the factory. She got lost. Alrighty. It's legal, but it's police still. Babe, still. Devil comes from the little cracks they don't tell you at school.
I am clicking, it's just random how long it takes.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No time to cook. We got an answer on the shelf. It's soup! What? Tomato soup! Made with fresh tomatoes and blood. And I wish you've never been born.
Aww.
Aww.
Sounds like my mom.
Yeah.
Alright. We'll be right here.
June 11th. I had a really weird dream today. Look, there were 2 girls kissing and their bodies meshed together. We couldn't explain it.
There was a snake. It was a ribbon. Double ribbon. Double shotgun blast in the bathroom.
I'm sure. Our Blake is okay. I'll go and look for him. I should have closed the darn window. September 15th. The bus driver saw me blank. Oh no! He didn't laugh at me and didn't get mad like Mum. Oh my god, did he jerk off in the bus too? He even allowed me to play in the bus. I wish there were more people like him.
I think this is a child rating.
He didn't want to. Sorry.
He didn't want to wake up, to see a hidden grudge in Hope's eyes, to listen to the awkward silence and to seize every opportunity to say a word to break it. But morning did come and Ethan was in for a surprise. Everything was fine, very much so. He got up early to make a superior breakfast, the kind Hope got up early to make a superior breakfast, the kind Ethan was never able to cook, even when he wanted to. She was talking to him. She was joking. She listed at least 10 places they would go when their schedules became more relaxed. The nightmare seemed to be over, simply washed away down the drain with the rest of all things excess he used to have in his body. The image was so real that Ethan got completely relaxed, let his guard down. Dazed by the cute nonsense, waffles with cream and delicious Turkish coffee. Then Hope asked a question.
Do you think a darker hair color would suit me?
The coffee suddenly turned solid and stuck in his throat. Ethan felt as if it wasn't coffee at all, but finely ground glass. He coughed. What? Hope put her elbows on the table and sipped from her cup as if nothing had happened.
I was just thinking about becoming a brunette. What do you say,
I don't know. I'm fine with everything as it is. As long as you like it, I guess. Tiny pieces of glass were still scratching him from the inside. Ethan tried to clear his throat, but it didn't get much better. But why were you thinking about it? Ethan struggled to speak. He felt as if he was falling into a pit, and the air was whistling in his ears. I think they keep calling her a blonde.
Yeah. Well, one has to change from time to time.
そう思わない？
Variety is good. Is that right?
She took another sip.
それに
Besides, I find plenty of dark hair all over the apartment. Yeah, because you let that goddamn cat in. Not very long, you know, but not too short either.
このぐらいかな。
About this length.
Even though Hope tapped her neck with the edge of her hand, Ethan knew where the hand would stop.
だから私
It's
が
her
黒
fault,
髪に
like
し
that
たら
brunette. I can believe those hairs are mine.
Aw.
Aww.
女の髪なんかじゃなくて私の髪だったって思え
Her lips stretched and the corners of her mouth turned up, but she wasn't smiling. This isn't happening. This just can't be happening. He must still be asleep. This is a dream, just a shitty dream, and it'll end. Now Ethan desperately wanted morning to come, but morning just couldn't come for the second time in a day. Hope leaned back in her
Yeah.
chair and looked at him with her head on one side, a fake smile smoldering on her lips. Something had to be done about it. All of it. Right this moment. We lying or telling the truth? Ow.
Yeah, good idea to save. Let's try to explain.
Look, something strange is going on.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't like the look already.
てる
I know. That is a look of someone who's just like, I know you're cheating on me.
Or I'm just in trouble.
I could tell as such.
Hope, I'm serious. Something strange is going on. I have no explanations. Neither good nor bad. None at all.
と
Oh, really?
多分
I see.
私の方が
I might have an
わかるかも
idea or
しれない
two.
ね
Wait, I'm not saying that yesterday in the store. Ethan stopped short.
Go on.
He took a deep breath and closed his eyes. I'm not saying I didn't stare at that girl. I did, and it's obvious. I was trying to... She reminds me of someone, and I was trying to figure out if I was mistaken. I know what it looks like, and it's my fault. Ethan decided to omit the part about well-rounded buttocks under the light flowing fabric. Not because he wanted to look better, but because he knew it would hurt Hope. He didn't really want to hurt her. Please forgive me if you can. I did a shitty thing, but I'm really sorry. He put a hand on his table. He put his hand on the table so that their fingers touched a little. What's going on, Willow?
Hello.
Hope didn't move away. Next time we go shopping, you can stare at everyone you like. I'll try my best not to cry. Can't promise anything, though. Hope winced, but Ethan knew she was hiding a smile.
そっか
Alright then.
イケメンだけ見るわ
Keep in mind, I'll pick the hottest ones. I know she said, yep.
I don't stand a chance, do I? She smiled She smiled wider and ruffled his hair.
第にね
Absolutely.
And about the hairs, Hope's smiles disappear without a trace. I don't know where they came from. Seriously, there's something wrong here.
いいさ私は別
Then
に
please, I don't want to.
No, listen, please. I really think that some intruder is getting inside her apartment somehow. Do you believe me? Hope looked at him for a while. Then she shivered.
そうね
Dear me, Ethan. Yes,
わかったわ信じる
I
わ
do believe you.
I don't understand how this happens or what they want, but I think it's time to call the police and let them sort it out. It's their job, after
多
all.
分まずはローラに
Maybe she
話した
should
方がい
call,
いかも
Lorna?
Laura.
Laura. Laura first? I... It's the time.
Yes, I'll do that as well. Hope pressed his hand.
二人とも狂わせないように
Let's promise each other we won't go crazy.
私も変なものを見て
I also... thieving. I hope she saw the things that we're seeing. But...
Yeah.
all sorts of things.
Soap.
髪のことだけじゃなくて、
I mean, sometimes you find
こん
hairs,
なことを聞き始
just
め
some
たの。
damn hairs, and you start questioning everything.
Oh, she didn't
ど
kill
うにか
us?
して、一
I
人でこの問題を乗り越
I
え
hope
た
just
so.
need to get through these. I hope so too. We just need to get through these times somehow.
なんとかなるわよ。
It'll get better.
絶対。
Yeah, we're getting murdered. Sure it
Mhm.
will.
Ethan nodded. Yeah. Hope pressed his hand again and got up from the table.
じゃあ、もう行くわ
Okay,
ね。
I have to go now.
遅刻したら怒られ
I'll
ちゃう。
probably be late and I'll have to hold up at work.
Should I meet you after?
Maybe.
また電話するね。
I'll call you later, I guess. Oh, she's already staring at butts.
Hope. I love you.
私も
I love you too.
大好き。
Very much.
ちゃんとローラに電話してね。
Don't forget to call Laura.
Ethan nodded absently. When the door shut behind Hope, Ethan called Laura. Hope found Laura a long time ago. Seemed like Laura helped her a lot. At least that's what Hope herself said. Ethan didn't know any details nor wanted to since Hope hadn't told him. After all, psychotherapy is a very personal matter. So personal that Ethan felt as if he were standing naked in the middle of a busy street when he had to describe what was happening to him. Apparently, one could get used to this too, as by the middle of the story he was sparing no details. To Ethan's surprise, when he mentioned the disturbing emails from his contact that were getting on his nerves, Laura perked up.
You're saying you have recently become quite close to your acquaintance. You empathize and try to help him, right?
Well, yes. Something like that.
And your contact letters contain vivid, disturbing imagery, yes? Imagery that evokes a certain response for you, is that right?
You can say that. He's a writer after all. Vivid images are his livelihood.
Do you know what induced delusion is, Mr. Harrison?
Ethan tried to recall. He definitely read about it, but he didn't look much into detail. Is that the thing that explains mass insanity? Like the dancing plague of 1518 in Strasbourg?
That's right.
This disorder... Oh, sorry.
This disorder is also called flirting à deux, or madness for two. Sounds romantic, doesn't it?
Laura giggled. Ethan thought she herself was not all too sane. Of course she wasn't. She used to deal with guys like me all the time. Laura had already returned to her usual tone, calm and measured.
This condition causes perfectly healthy people to experience various, let's say, negative effects. It works like this. We have a source of delirium and those who receive it, one or more people. As you correctly noted, sometimes this disorder can take on a truly massive scale. There is usually an emotional connection between the victims of this condition. Your wife is also at risk, fortunately.
Laura paused.
I can't make a diagnosis in such a format, Mr. Harrison. However, I think you need to limit contact with your acquaintance, at least for the time being. It might be a source of the unpleasant state you are experiencing. Would you like to make an appointment for a consultation?
I just want tomato soup. Ethan politely declined. So much soup.
Coming back home, and we're gonna watch the soup channel.
Laura listened to the rest of what he had to say. He asked what pills Ethan were taking. Ethan wasn't taking any except aspirin, because he had lots of headaches lately. She advised him to reduce their workload, follow the daily routine, and take light sodas if necessary. Something herbal, maybe. Without meeting in person, there wasn't much Laura could offer, and Ethan had no energy, time, or money to start on the full-on therapy, as Hope called it. Ethan thanked Laura with all of his heart, finished the call, stretched, and took a deep breath that made his ribs ache. Then he smiled. Though no full-on therapy was involved, this conversation still made Ethan feel much better. The reality made sense again, and nothing out of the ordinary was happening. Nothing he couldn't handle. He stretched again and was about to go for another cup of coffee when his breath, the steady, deep breath of a man who's in control, caught in his throat. Oh! Ethan felt the small hairs on his neck standing up. Someone was looking at the back of his head. Ethan turned around slowly.
Have you eaten soup recently?
I'm calling the police. Ethan spoke each word loud and clear. It was a decent plan. An actually decent one, and it certainly wasn't funny in any way, and yet the girl sitting on the windowsill was silently laughing, covering her white teeth with her hand.
We're back!
The girl from the supermarket. The girl from the dream. She was still wearing a white dress, even though in the morning the temperature dropped 50 degrees from Fahrenheit. Dropped to 53 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was starting to rain. One second, I want to catch back on. One of the straps fell down to the side, but the girl was in no hurry to pull it back up. She swung her crossed legs a little, looking at Ethan from under her brow, with the smile of a child who had a hilarious mischief in mind. Did I say something funny? The girl quickly raised her eyes and shrugged slightly, still holding back the smile. Just as she did before, she did not make a sound. Ethan even assumed she could be mute, but decided to make one last attempt. Just one question, and then he calls the cops. Who are you? How did you get in here? What do you want to know?
How did you get in here?
Okay. The girl put her lean finger with a neat black nail to her lips, while the fingers of her other hand shaped a figure of a man. She pointed at the figure with her eyes. Ethan felt sick of the farce that was happening. He thought he should call the cops immediately. The hand clutching the phone continued to hang limply. The finger man looked around and started walking along the windowsill with his finger legs. Oh, okay. She's just making the little, like, do-do-do-do-do. I get it now. Hey, you got a present, too.
Yay! What's in the present?
1, 2, 3. You have to wait for 5 people to do pokey catch. Then something else happened. Ethan failed to understand what it was. You can do pokey gift afterwards. Next moment, the finger man was walking on the sill, and the girl was making with the other hand. Then she smiled widely and put both palms on her chest. She looked absolutely happy.
招待されたの。
I was invited.
Suddenly, she cast a gloomy look at Ethan. Her black eyes gave a cold glimmer.
招待なしで来るなんて。
It's really rude to come in without an invitation.
A moment later, the girl reached for something behind her back, quickly pulled it to her lips, and took a sip. Ethan's throat became tight with blood that abruptly rushed to his head. Which one? How did you get this? The girl traced Ethan's gesture with a genuinely surprised look, and the next moment she parted her fingers. Hope's huge, colorful cup, the one that she just got from the store, tinkled hurtfully as it struck the floor, and then shattered to pieces. Aw! Typical cat pushing shit off of tables. Just like that, there was a brief moment when the cup was lying peacefully on the floor. Ethan got enough time to hope it would endure the fall. And then the fragments burst everywhere at once, as the furious white light broke out from the inside. But no, that was milk. Just some milk.
怖がらせないでよね。
Should have spooked.
もう。
Now look what you've done. The poor cup is so broken.
I don't think she really cares.
She doesn't care. So many eeny, meeny, tiny. There's no way to mend it at all. Oh.
Ethan was suffocating. The hell are you doing here? What do you want from me? The girl bit her lip and twisted a fallen shoulder strap between fingers. The top of the dress slid even lower.
Do you want me to leave? But I may run into Hope. Right at the door, even. She forgot her pass and will be here any... What would a poor girl think?
Oh. The girl looked over her shoulder and her face instantly lit up.
It's her. Here she is. Hope is simply amazing. Accurate aim.
こんにちは。
Hello, hello.
The girl turned over on her stomach, leaned on the sill, and waved vigorously to someone invisible. Her dress completely slid down. That
Oh,
bitch.
look.
Ethan would bet her tits are flashing right through the window. Dark away from the window, or don't come any closer.
Don't come any closer.
I'm nervous. I can't do this anymore. I need to go to take a nap.
But what if we dragged her away from the window?
Which one do you want?
Yeah, drag her away from the window. We're getting close.
But she's like half naked.
She's fully naked.
Dragging her ain't gonna help. She'll stop right now. He'll force some sense into her. Ethan rushed to the window. He's going to grab the girl's arm and drag her deeper into the room. Maybe he would have clenched her shoulder much harder than necessary. Maybe he would have given her a hearty shake before releasing her. But even in a state of frenzied rage, he did not intend to punish her. Let the police handle it. It's their job after all. Moreover, he wasn't going to get on top of her with his whole body pressing her against the glass. But he did just that. Yeah. Ethan failed to see how this happened. It's as if someone rolled the clock forward and the missing time replaced the thing he intended to do. All he knew was his right hand clutches the naked boob of the damn bitch, and his left is propped up against the glass.
Oh,
Look, we're sorry, Hope, this happens, okay? I fell.
I think I made the wrong choice.
Behind the glass, far below, was Hope. Ethan saw her face. He would give his all for a chance not to see, but it seemed like someone lent him a pair of theater binoculars against his will. Ethan saw Hope's blue eyes turn glassy, her mouth open as if she wanted to say something but couldn't find the words. You little shit. He did not even have to pull down his pants or lift the hem of her dress. All this happened as if by itself.
Wait, why did he pull down his pants?
When he finished, Hope was gone. His shallow, frantic breath surged in his chest and just wouldn't calm down. Ethan was crying silently and without tears. And then the girl's neck turned counterclockwise, crunching all the while? Ethan had momentarily thought he hallucinated at this very moment. The girl's neck twisted again, and again, and again. The girl laughed, and he saw her wide smile right in front of him. Thought she was still lying belly down on the windowsill. Her hand was no longer covered in her mouth. Ethan saw her teeth, long and sharp. Her bones crunched, her head spun, just like the regular wheel on a camera. And her faces were switching one to another, grinning, all of them. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The air got thick and nauseating. Ethan staggered. He knew he will either vomit or pass out, and he wasn't sure what would come out of it, until the moment that merciful blackness swallowed him whole. What could happen? Sometimes you trip and casually enter a cat girl. It's just a circle of life.
It's just what happens.
Yep. Xenophobia. Well, that escalated quickly. When he woke up, the horrible creature was gone. As soon as Ethan's mind could function again, he called Hope. She did not answer. Ethan thought he could come to her office, but eventually said it would only make things worse. Hope returned sometime late at night and early in the morning. The skin on her cheekbones was taut and almost transparent, and there were deep shadows under her eyes, as if she hadn't slept in a long time. She smelled of strong alcohol. Ethan went out of the dark room to her. He didn't sleep, and didn't turn on the light either. Things that worked in the dark, real or imagined, no longer frightened him. He even wished that something he had been dreading for the past month. He finally could name the feeling he had. It would come out of the greasy blackness of the shadow and snap his neck. But everything in the apartment was mockingly calm, except for Ethan himself. Hope stared at him in silence, swaying a little. Instead of pupils, she had dark holes. I've been thinking a lot about what I would say to you if you came back. What I can say. Hope's face showed no emotion. It seemed like she didn't even blink. Anyway, I realized that I can only tell the truth no matter how crazy it sounds. If I try to cheat, it only gets worse, right? Ethan gave a short, nervous laugh. Anyway, Ethan had plenty of time to think about what he was going to say, but he still didn't know where to start. Some time ago, I don't remember exactly when, I started seeing a girl.
さあの子一体
Who
誰
is she,
なの
Ethan?
I don't know.
ソフィーなの
Is it Sophie?
Who?
ソフィー・ウォルフ
Sophie Wolf.
オンラインコースの受講生にいる
Your student from that online course on.
Hope made a vague gesture with her hand. Movies from the late Victorian era. Ethan didn't know why he said that, but Hope obediently repeated it in a flat
ソフィ
voice.
ーって子にすごく感心してたの
I remember you were really impressed with her.
頭のいい子が好きで
You
しょ
always liked smart girls.
ソフィーは頭が良くて
And this one
美
was
人でしょ
also beautiful.
Oh, this isn't what you think.
違い
Think?
勘違いって言っ
Who says I think?
てもういいわ
Thinking is too painful.
Wait, hold on. Ethan disappeared into the room and came back a few minutes later. The darkness of the hallway was diluted by the light of the screen. Hope covered her eyes with her hand, either from the brightness of the screen itself or because she didn't want to see whatever there
どう
was.
いうこと
What is it all about?
Here, look. It's Sophie Wolf. On the screen, in fact, was the profile of Sophie Wolf, his student. On the photo, Sophie was squinting, either from the bright sun or because her curly-haired hair was getting in her eyes. A small, brown-haired girl snuggled up to her with a shy smile. They're a nice couple. If I remember right, they had a wedding this year.
そしたら
Then
誰なの
who is...
I don't know. Honestly, I don't care. I just want her out of my life, but this bitch follows me. Well, she used to follow. But now I don't think I'll ever see her again.
本当に
Is it good or bad?
Oh, please. If you want to leave, I'll understand. But if you're willing to give me a chance, I promise I'll do my best to mend it all. He couldn't really promise, but he was too eager for the nightmare, real or imagined, to finally end. No more weird stories. Please, Hope. I don't need anyone but you. If you can get... He couldn't finish because Hope kissed him. Her bag hit the floor with a thud. Then the rest of the night actually went fine. Well, even more than that, except for the fact that they were too busy to get any sleep.
So, oh, never mind.
Put the bag stays on, please. At least everything was going okay until the moment when, instead of Hope's face, just for a moment, Ethan saw... He couldn't tell her. He mumbled something about not feeling well and collapsed on his back, panting. He closed his eyes so that Hope wouldn't accidentally catch a glimpse of what he saw. Nothing happened. It wasn't real. It's fine. She understands, said Hope.
Zach, pocket catnip. Oh, something changed.
Oh, let's see. Tomato soup?
I hope so. I remember her face. Okay,
Was that it? Oh, there we go.
where's Timo? Let's look for him together. Maybe he's up to chasing the birds. No, I can't see him. Maybe he's in the reeds watching the fish. No and no. Look some more. Maybe he's been given to the Christ child. Maybe he's on the roadside under the blue plastic bag. He's not there. He's not there. He's not there. He's not there.
Alright, don't skip any of these.
You want me to say them all?
No, I'm just kidding.
He's there.
Trips in straight.
The condition of love. What have you done? I wanted to save you. I wanted to save us both. Fool. That's right. But I can't lose you. It is too late. It's never too late as long as we have each other.
So, is it though?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Elijah. Now, the condition of love.
Lack of tomato soup is disturbing.
I know.
Alright, we're gonna save and take a quick break, okay?
Okay.